All right, let's talk about something that could totally change the way you look at money. It's a framework called the cash flow quadrant, which you might know from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And really, it's just a simple blueprint for making sense of your financial life. But before we get into it, I've got a question for you. Think about it for a second. Is every dollar earned the same? Is the dollar you worked 9 to 5 for really the same as a dollar that shows up from a stock dividend while you sleep? The answer to that, well, that's the key to this whole thing. Okay, so here it is. This is our map. Don't let the letters and boxes fool you. The core idea is incredibly simple. It basically sorts everyone who earns an income into one of 4 buckets. And in doing so, it shows us the fundamental differences in how wealth is actually built. So let's start our tour over here on the left side of the map. We're going to call this the active income zone. And for most of us, this is where our financial journey begins. The rule on this side of the map? It's super simple. You trade your time for money, plain and simple. If you stop working, the paychecks stop coming. Sound familiar? Probably does for a lot of us. On this side, you've got 2 main groups. You've got the E for employee, that's someone who has a job, and then you've got the S for self-employed or specialist. Think doctors, lawyers, freelance designers. They don't have a job, they own their job. But you see the common denominator, right? In both cases, they are the system. They have to show up for the money to come in. Yeah, the formula that runs this entire side of the quadrant is one we all know. Time equals money. The more hours you put in, the more you can earn. But here's the catch. There are only 24 hours in a day, so there's a hard built-in ceiling on your income potential. And get this, here is how that plays out in the real world. A massive 95% of the population earns their living from this left side. It's the most common path, the one we're all taught to follow, but it's also the path with practically zero leverage. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's hop over to the other side of the map. This is the right side, what we'll call the passive income zone. And over here, well, the rules of making money are completely different. The entire mindset gets flipped on its head. And this is the single biggest shift. On the right side of the quadrant, your income is officially disconnected from the hours you personally put in. You are no longer treating your time for money. So who lives over here? You've got the B for business owner and the I for investor. Now, a business owner doesn't own a job. They own a system that works for them, usually with other people working in that system. An investor? They're even a step beyond that. Their money works for them. It all boils down to one incredibly powerful word: leverage. Business owners leverage other people's time and talent inside a system they created. Investors leverage their capital, their money, to make more money. This, right here, is how you break that time equals money equation for good. And the results of using leverage are, well, just look at this. It's pretty staggering. While only about 5% of people operate on this right side, they control an estimated 95% of the wealth. This isn't about working harder. It's about working differently. It is the power of leverage in action. So this obviously leads to the million-dollar question, right? If the right side is where all the financial leverage is, how in the world do you get there? What's the secret to making that jump? The answer isn't what you might think. It's not about finding a higher-paying job or working insane hours. The key, the absolute fundamental secret, is simply a mindset shift. It's about truly, deeply understanding the difference between 2 simple words: assets and liabilities. And you know what? It is this simple. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the entire game in a nutshell. If you get this, you get everything. I mean, this visual just says it all, doesn't it? Assets are like a treasure chest that's constantly refilling itself with gold. Liabilities are like a bucket with a big hole in it, just constantly draining your resources. The goal then becomes pretty obvious. Collect more treasure chests and plug up those leaky buckets. Let's make this real. What's an asset? A rental property that pays you each month. Stocks that pay you dividends just for owning them. A business that runs without you having to be there every day. And liabilities? Oh, we know these all too well. Your car loan, credit card debt, and yes, even the mortgage on the house you live in, because every single month it takes money out of your pocket. And this quote right here just summarizes the entire philosophy. It shows that the big difference isn't always income, it's financial habits. It's about a relentless focus on acquiring things that produce income, while many others are busy accumulating liabilities that they think are assets. That shift in thinking is everything. Okay, so we have our map, the quadrant, and we have our compass, that knowledge of assets versus liabilities. Now we can actually start to chart a course. You see, the path to financial freedom is really just a deliberate journey from the left side of this map to the right. And look, it's not about quitting your job tomorrow, not at all. It's about using the income you're earning now as an employee or self-employed person to start building a foothold on that right side. This is the whole strategy in one sentence. You take the money you earn from your job, your active income, and you systematically use it to buy or build assets that generate passive income. And over time, something amazing starts to happen. The income from your assets grows, until one day it can replace and then totally blow past the income from your job. So there you have it. That's the blueprint. It's a really powerful way to see where your money's coming from and how your financial world is built. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. Looking at this map, where are you right now? And more importantly, where do you want to go?